Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. We're doing interviews again, and today we have the amazing, the wonderful, the beautiful Kim Hardin-Hudson. And we're going to kick off today with one of her tracks called Time.
I can't believe we're 16. I never thought I'd make it this far. In my own car, driving to Moody's party, riding beside me on the way to school. Listen to what we want to. I'm afraid I'll lose you this time. Will you recognize me next time? If there is one. I'm afraid. I am so afraid to lose you. Do you remember 18? I thought I'd never get to graduate. They sent me away. Isn't it just the weirdest thing? The way it never seems to make it here, and then it disappears. What if I lose you at a time? What if last time is the last time I ever see you? I'm afraid. I am so afraid to lose you. Too tight. What if I lose you? What if I lose you? What if I lose you? What if I lose you?
Boom. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Hope you're all doing really well. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I know you didn't, but I'll answer for you. Yes, I'm doing the grey today because, hey, it's grey day. And you should celebrate your grey if you're going grey. Yeah. What an amazing song. What an amazing song, yeah? And I can see by the chat, it's an incredible song. It's one of my favourite songs for this year. Every time I hear it, I get goosebumps. I got goosebumps right now. And it was created by an incredible artist, somebody who we've all got to know here across many of the shows here on YouTube within the iOS music making community, who is not only super talented, multi-instrumentalist, using multiple devices to make music. Incredibly beautiful, but she's also an FMC fan. And that's cool as well, you got to be an FMC fan. So, without further ado, I'm guessing she's scrambling for the unmute button right now. I can see her. Let's welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, the amazing, the incomparable, the cool, Kim Hardin-Hudson. Hello, Kim. How are you going?
Hi.
It is weird, isn't it?
Oh,
Welcome to the
gosh.
show.
I'm usually, thank you. I'm usually
Yeah.
in the chat watching the show, but now I'm in the show
No, it's
watching the
weird.
chat.
I have two chat windows open. I can never choose which one I'm
crazy.
looking at. It's so confusing. All right, so I'm going to jump straight in, and I want to know about this song, that song in particular, because when I met you, you had already. Oh my, come on! Oh, look at.
Oh, there
It's
I
all
go.
good. We can.
There I go.
You've
Bye.
shrunk. What's going on, man? Look at
over.
that! You shrunk. Let's bring you back. Ah! Look at that.
Thank you.
It's, see that? As soon as I spent all that time setting everything up today, and look what happens.
I know.
It's typical, isn't it? We just had a camera malfunction there.
It's
All right, so I want to ask
funny.
you about that song, because when I first met you, that song
Okay.
was it had been up on YouTube, but you weren't happy with it, and you kind of came back and revisited it. Tell us a little bit. Oh, my camera's dancing around everywhere for some reason. Look at this! Look at everybody! Look at this camera! It's going crazy. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind that song and the story of that particular song, Time.
Okay, so that's actually written. So that's the first song I wrote in 15 years.
Wow!
And I forced myself to write that song because I was tired of not writing songs. And but the idea came from, I was going to I went to see a friend one day, and it happens to be the same guy that's playing the organ on my song Phone.
Right.
So we've known each other forever, and I went to see him, and he was like, "Hey, I'm moving. I have to move." And I was devastated. He's my first of all, he's my oldest friend. We've known each other since we were 12, and we still talk. He's the only person I still talk to. And so, and he's my only music friend. So to hear him say he was leaving, I was pretty bummed. And I guess I just was like, I just felt the need to write a song for him, because he's kind of always been like my biggest supporter, and been like, why aren't you doing music? What's wrong with you? Like, that's who you are. So I wrote this, I forced myself to write this song for him. And I was like, I'm going to write the song, and it's going to be about this, and it's going to chronicle kind of our life. And it was really supposed to be only like for him. So there's like things in there that only kind of he knows about,
Right.
Because I never thought I was going to like actually record it, produce it, and share it. I was just going to like play it on my voice memos, record it on my voice memos, and send it to him and be done with it, So yeah, that's pretty much
Are you
it.
surprised by the attraction to the song? Like, I mean, you can tell by the chat here, everybody loves it. It's one of my favorite songs. I listen to it very often. How has it been, like, the reaction to hear people to that particular song?
It freaks me out a little bit. Yeah, I was definitely surprised, because like before when I was just playing it, and just like I said, Nikki, hi Nikki, oh, she came.
Hi, Nikki.
You know what? Hi to everybody. Thank you so much, you guys, for coming. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I really should not be looking at this chat. Let me put my little napkin over the thing. Okay, crap. What was the question? Oh, yes, I was surprised, because so when you're just playing a song and it's just you and your instrument, and you're like, oh, this might not be that good, or I couldn't see. Well, first of all, I just never thought I was going to record it. Right. So then like once I record it and it starts coming together, I'm like, okay, this turned out a lot better than I thought. It might be a song than I thought. And of course, when I put it out there, I was like, oh God, people are going to hear like all sorts of things wrong with it. Like, I feel like my guitar sounds a little bit out of tune in spots. It's kind of an old guitar. I was like, oh God, people are just going to hate it. So yeah, when people liked it, and then I started getting all these views, and it really kind of freaked me out. So I put in the title, I had changed it just from time, and then I put original songs. I was like, maybe people don't know what they're clicking on. Like, let me let them know this is a song before you, like, I don't know, it just freaked me out. So yeah.
I love the original song thing. I love it. I think it's very, very endearing that there's, here's my song, and it's an original song in brackets. It's just very endearing. It's very genuine. It's very sweet. So, because, you know, you revisited that. You came over and joined my Patreon, and then you redid the vocals and redid it, and then put it up on the streaming services. And the old version's still the one that's on your YouTube channel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to fix that.
I didn't want to repeat, you know, I don't want to repeat songs. So I didn't want to put the streaming one on YouTube. So I just put like a little comment. I was like, hey, if you want to hear the streaming version, go there, you know.
You just need to use LumaFusion and make a nice clip for it. It'll be sweet.
I know. I kind of do have an idea, some ideas for it. So that's not like outside the realm of possibilities, you know. Good. Having a video for it one of these days.
It's a wonderful song, and I'm really glad you trusted me with it too, to come over to the Patreon, and you redid the vocals. I think there was a bunch of us on the Patreon. We were all going, do the vocals, do the vocals, do the vocals again, and you upped them up in the mix and made them more prominent, because you know they definitely had to be more out there. And I felt really privileged to be able to master it, because it's a beautiful song. As I said, I can't praise it enough.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So let's jump into some questions, and then we'll say hi to everybody. So we see you all there, and we thank you all for being here. All 35 of you. 35 of you. God, somebody's popular. Holy hell. Russ, you're going to get knocked off the top.
Jade's popular.
Russ is currently the most popular interview so far. I think you're going to knock him off.
No, I'm not.
He's gonna.
Don't be crazy.
I don't know if you.
I'm sorry. I have to juice.
Yeah, I'll juice away. Just be warned. If you knock Russ off, he may send the boys round. He's a bit.
I am scared of that. Actually, it keeps me up.
Yeah, keeps you up
at night.
All right. So, Kim Hardin-Hudson, what does music mean to you?
Okay. What does music mean to me? Okay, it might be a cliche, but I'm gonna say it anyway, and it means everything, for sure. So it's gotten me through like some really hard times in life over and over again. It like writing songs is kind of how I really figure out like what I'm really feeling, and you know, it kind of reach deep inside and come up with these words from my subconscious. I don't know. And I read them back and I'm like, oh, so that's what I'm feeling. So it's like, it's therapeutic writing it, but also listening to it is really therapeutic. Like you can't really like be worried about whatever you can't control in this world when you're like really listening to a song, you know, or really working on a song. So I really think it helps me with my mental health. Man, I know that I had another thing I was gonna say and it's just gone.
That's all right. I'm gonna hang on this.
It means so much. I mean, it's kind of, so this might sound dramatic, but I feel like it's kind of why, like writing songs and making music, I do feel like it's why I exist. You know, it's why I'm here on this planet.
Yeah, I say it often myself. Without music, I would have been dead long ago. I think, you know, I think there's many of us who agree on that, and it's a common thread. Well, that's why I asked the question that, you know, music has not only listening to music, because not everybody makes music, but listening to music carries you through. And I just wanted to touch on, the mental health stuff, because where I really started to make or be aware of you was back when I started doing the Wart series, where I was covering a lot of mental health stuff. And I know that impacted all of us in some way, shape or form last year. It was really heavy.
Yeah.
And I from being somebody who creates a show like this and sees all of you creative people out there, all of you, you're all amazing. It's been amazing watching you all grow, and especially you, because from that series, that's when I started to see you pop up through the text and shine, and then all of a sudden your music came out. So it's quite apparent that mental health and raw emotions are a part of your music too. It's very apparent.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can elaborate if you want.
God, I don't have anything else to say. I don't have anything else to say about that.
All right, let's do the cheesy stuff, which I ask everyone. The music you recall being played in your household as you were growing up, and has it influenced you, and how cheesy was it?
Okay, so I don't think it's influenced me that I am aware of anyway. So there wasn't really a lot of music being played around my house. So I don't really come from like a very musical family. I come from like kind of an artistic creative family mostly, but like my dad, he was into talk radio. So that's not music.
No.
And my mom, not at all. My mom, I can remember her listening to, and this wasn't really in the house. This is mostly like in the car. There wasn't really a lot playing in the house that I can remember. I can remember her listening to like the Eagles. I know you love the Eagles. They're your favorite.
Oh yeah.
Who else?
How did you know?
I feel like I remember her having I watch your show, Jade. She had some Elton John cassette that I can kind of remember, but mostly the music came from, I think, my love of music and my love of singing, and how I discovered that I love to sing and that I love music really came from my oldest sister. So she was listening, and this is like on like road trips and stuff. We'd like listen to the Go-Go's.
Yes.
We'd listen to Madonna, True Blue. It really a lot of other, I think, early Madonna ones. The one where I guess it was her first one where she's on the cover and she's got all the bracelets and she's doing this.
Classic Madonna.
That one. So who else? A little bit of Prince. I remember a little bit of Prince, a little bit of Michael Jackson. Kind of like just what was on mainstream pop radio.
That one?
And like is
that the one you meant?
Well, it's a self-titled one, but it looks like they changed the cover. The cover's different. You know what? I was going through Spotify yesterday, and they've changed like some of the covers. I'm like, why would you do that? These covers are like iconic.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why did they do that? Whatever.
I don't know. For the young people.
Just whatever.
Yeah. Sorry, I broke your train of thought. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So, but yeah, pretty much that. So I do kind of have a funny story related to music when I was growing up. It's kind of funny. So my sister is like about 8 years older than me. Okay. So when I was in first grade, I remember her listening to Lita Ford, but really just one song. It might've just been a tape that, she taped it off the radio or whatever. And it was Kiss Me Deadly.
Yeah. What a song.
And and I was 7, and I thought that song was really cool. And so I learned all the words, and I went to school, and I taught one of my friends all the words, and we're like on the playground, like swinging our hand, holding hands, and like singing this song. And this kid kind of comes up to us, and he just kind of like gives us this kind of this look, like, and walks away. I'm like, what's his deal? Next thing I know, I'm in the principal's office because I was singing the line, "Didn't get laid, got in a fight." we got sent to the principal's office. I didn't know what that meant, right? But this other kid apparently does know what it means, and he doesn't get in trouble,
Right.
but we get in trouble.
Yeah.
So we go to the principal's office, and they're like, write down the words, and I tell my friend, I'm like, okay, I don't know what this line means, so let's change it. Let's make up something else. So I made up a different line, and then we finally get to meet with the principal. She's like, these are not the words to this song, is it? We're like, no. And she's like, okay, I'm calling your parents. So we were both sent home for the rest of the day. I got a B in conduct. I didn't get to have ice cream on the last day of school with everybody. My sister got in a lot of trouble.
So rock and roll.
Yeah. I know. So silly. It was fun though. Oh, whoops! I just hit my thing.
Well, it's better than a hotel trashing story.
So yeah, I don't have any of those.
They're boring anyway.
You
didn't get ice cream. You're more rock and roll already.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first album that you purchased, or was given to you, and what was it? Both of them. So one given to you, and one that you purchased.
Okay. Oh, so I brought stuff.
Ooh,
so the first one I ever purchased, was B-52's Cosmic Thing on cassette. Can you see that?
Yeah, let me zoom. My camera's decided to go small again. There we go. Wow, look at that.
It's got,
That's a cassette, folks.
It's like falling apart. It's like, look at it. It's like falling apart. So this had Love Shack. So I was probably like 8. I think I was probably 8 years old. And I do specifically remember like going to the tape store, we called it back then. And, or I did. And picking out this tape because I loved Love Shack. And yeah, I mean, I had to tape it together. It's like falling apart. I would just like sit there and just read all the words and sing along. And I had this friend who also liked to sing, and her dad, he was kind of maybe an amateur musician. I don't really know. He was a truck driver, so I don't, but anyway, he had a bunch of mics and like all this really professional stuff. I'm like 8 years old, and this is like the most amazing thing. I go over there, I bring my tape, and me and my friend like sing along with it. And I had to be Kate Pearson because, she had red hair.
Yeah.
And then my friend was like, I want to be Cindy Snyder. So she got to be Cindy Snyder, and we would harmonize. It was a lot of fun. So that's the first one that I picked out all by myself. The first one that was given to me that I can remember, anyway, there's probably more before this one was, I actually don't have it with me, was Pixie's Doolittle.
Oh, wow.
And my friend that I talked about, let's just call him by his name because it's easier than just calling him my friend Aaron. He's the one that Time is About and that played on phone. And he, for my 16th birthday, he got me the Doolittle CD. And still to this day, that album is, that album is one of my time favorites. It's fast, super short, but it's just one of those where like you just like every song is just, and it flows so I just love it. I have it on like almost every format. I have the vinyl up there, but
it's a great album.
Love it. So yeah, that was it.
All right. Let's see. Where can I go from here? Did you study music at school?
So am I frozen? Oh wait, no, I'm not.
Yeah, the
there we go.
picture's just got a little bit jaded.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
It'll come back.
Okay. Sometimes my Wi-Fi can be like, weird. Music in school. Okay, so
now she's frozen. Now her Wi-Fi is playing up. So, all right, so it looks like Skype is trying to reconnect. There she is. Is she back? Is she back?
Am I here? Did you hear me curse?
Yeah, we got the end of it.
Was
we
that
got,
your end or my end?
I think it's your end because I'm connected to a hard line. What we can even do is if let me just see, because you've shrunk again down here. What we can do is we can try calling you back. That normally fixes things.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so let's hang up. You ready, folks? We're going to hang up,
Okay.
and then we'll call back. Boom, done. All right, let's call back. This is the joy of live streaming. You get to hear the Skype music. It's so cool. And then once she clicks her camera on, we should be kind of back. Well, kind of.
Okay.
There we go. You're back. Everything's good again. All right. So,
Okay.
did you take lessons for music at school or playing music or anything like that?
Okay. Not at school. So at school we were required to learn the recorder. Okay. So it's like I knew that, notes existed, basically. But I was in choir actually.
Right.
So, probably I guess in elementary, sometimes I would have, little solos and things like that and some of the little plays, but I took music lessons outside of school. And that was guitar lessons I started guitar lessons when I was 12. I wanted to take piano when I was 8, and my parents were like, no. And I probably, because they thought I wouldn't stick with it, or pianos are expensive, or they didn't want to hear me like screwing up on this piano. I don't know why they said no, but they said no. And so around 12 years old, I was like, okay, well, can I take guitar lessons? I want to take guitar lessons. And they said, yeah, okay. So I was like, sweet. So I took guitar lessons for about, I want to say 4.5 to 5 years.
Yep.
And then I took piano lessons. I didn't start piano lessons until I was 16. So finally my parents were like, in fact, my friend that I used to sing B-52s with was like, we want to get rid of our piano. Do you guys want it? I was like, yeah. And so we got a piano, and I was like, can I please take lessons now? And they're like, yes, you can. Because, it's been 8 years. Obviously, I want to take lessons, from the first time I asked.
Absolutely. I'm
serious about this, guys. So then I took piano lessons probably for like 3 years or so. No, not really 3 years, only probably a year and a half. And then I had to quit because of circumstances. And then I went back to taking piano again when I was in my early 20s. But I didn't really learn a lot of like theory, really, especially not when I was playing guitar. Like I mostly just played, other people's songs or just kind of made up stuff. And then when I started taking piano lessons, I learned a little bit more theory. And then I was like, I'd written all these songs on the guitar before I took piano lessons. And so when I started to learn theory, I was like, oh God, I've been doing this wrong this whole time, and I felt almost like it was kind of stifling at the time. At the time I was too young to understand that, and just too dumb to understand, honestly, that like theory is just a toolbox. You just reach into it when you need it. Like the songs that I wrote before that, like they weren't wrong just because I didn't know what I was doing, So yeah, now I know that.
Absolutely. Like, I think there's a lot of us who haven't learned theory. There's the argument that people who learn theory don't have any feeling. And there's an argument that, you can't encapsulate the feeling that comes from a song that gives you goosebumps. But in saying that, there are classically trained people who give you goosebumps, so that it's not entirely true all the time.
Yeah.
And do you think theory's needed to make great music?
No, I don't. I think it's good for when you're stuck.
Yep.
And that's and honestly, I still don't really know theory. I know enough to get by. I just kind of I kind of just play around. Like I'll be like, okay, I know what's in this key, and I'll just kind of start throwing chords at it and see what sounds good. You know, that's how.
Well,
For
the
now.
guitar and keyboard or piano are quite similar. Like, you know, I've only really just started playing keyboard only in the last few years. And I was amazed at how easily I knew where all the notes were just from years of playing guitar. So I think there are people out there who play guitar and might be afraid to play keyboard. But it's actually easier than what you think because, you know, they're all the same notes. So you said you sung in a choir as well. Did you say that? Did I catch that right?
Yeah, I was in choir. Yeah.
How long did you do that
It was
for?
like elementary school.
All right, so...
Oh, gosh, I don't even know. Like maybe 4th and 5th grade.
Right. Do you consider yourself...
Like
what do you consider yourself? Do you more of a singer or a musician? What do you think?
I really do kind of think I'm more of a singer. I think. Yeah. Because like I don't play very well, right? So this is part of
Who does?
why it thank God I'm not the only one. I feel like a lot of you guys actually do, but so that's why it kind of takes me so long to kind of record and you know, get everything just right, because I'm not like I can't just make up, you know, I can't just whip it out, you know, it just
Well,
it just doesn't happen. So like it took a long time for me to record that guitar part on time.
right.
And but you know, just kept doing it, and finally I got it. So
See, if you had have said, if this was a different interview and I heard the term, I just can't whip it out, and this was a Brad example interview, I have a feeling this would have gone down.
that came out of my mouth and I was like, oh crap.
This would have gone down a way different path. But trust me, I'll take it there.
Oh jeez.
Let's say hello to folks in the chat because I see you all typing, and it's time to say hello because, you know, it's one of the
Oh my gosh.
it's one of the things about these chats. It is the saying hello thing, because we all do it every day and say hi to each other over and over and over again, and then we move to the next show and say hi, hi, hi. So let's do it now. Let's say hello to Fam, Thomas Christ, Welton Kinder, John Frank Songs, Capsulam, Ivan Idea, Autism Rocks, Black Covers, Mars Capone, Patrick Chandler, Russ, Clayton Von Kluge, Payin to Get. I don't have the sound effects today. Nottebox, Bear. Wow, there's so many of you here today. Thank you all for being here. Scott is here. Darren Anderson and his alter ego, Daryl Anderson. Who else? SM Borthwick, Audible Video. Holy hell. Deep Gravity, Joe Glenn. I'm doing my best to get everyone with my 4 eyes. Lucky I've got 4. I could do with 6. Really, I could do with 6 eyes. That would be so much better. Gary Hubbs is here with his pizza and his lawnmower that he still hasn't given back. I think I've said Black Covers. Let's see. I'm sure there's lots more. Nikki Tedesco, hello to you. Who else do we have as I go down this massive list? God, you're also awesome. Dave Fox is here too. The Distance Acoustic Duo, Triple N Jen, and
Jen.
let's see.
I'm sorry. I'm excited to see everybody. I'm sorry. I really am. I'm so excited. But those are my Twitch girls. So I'm like so happy you guys came over. Thank you so much.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Brad Examples here, who we just spoke about before. Dragon Lady's here. Adam Burse is here. Wow. God damn. You guys rock so hard.
They do.
I think I've got most people. Livula 11. Is that how I say that? Livula 11.
From Twitch?
I guess
Right,
so.
the other Twitch person?
She's got lots of cats. She's put lots of cats down. So
Yeah. Happy Catter Day. It's not Catter Day yet, but on Saturday she says, Happy Catter Day. Happy Catter Day.
Cy effing good to see you, my friend. I think I said Scott already. What have I got? I'm trying to get everybody before you carry on. I'm terrible at it. You guys know how much I suck at this. I think most people I've got. Yeah. Orchestra Eclipse. Got you in there. We'll go right down to the bottom, see if I've caught anyone. Gregory O'Sullivan. Holy crap, there's so many of you here. Thank you so much for being here. Andy Dion, hello to you too. All right, let's jump in and ask some more questions because I want to know, have you played in a band?
Oh, sorry. I was distracted by the chat.
Hey.
Okay, so thank you to the Australians, and if there's any New Zealanders for coming early and waking up early, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Haven't played in bands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Sort of. Very short-lived. Very short-lived. Yeah. So the first one we were called, okay, so I was 13. It was me and this kid at school. He came up to me and he's like, hey, I hear that you sing. Would you like to be in our band? Would you like to be our singer? I'm like, yeah, of course. They're like, yeah, we don't like our singer. We're getting rid of her. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do it. Did I already say what we were called? We were called Radium Milk.
Radium Milk.
And we were Radium Milk. We were, I guess you could say we were kind of a punk band, as punk as we could be between the ages of 13 and 15. So I was the youngest one. I was the only girl. And then it was my friend who was a year older than me. And then two other guys who actually lived in the city. So, I live in the suburbs of Dallas and they lived in the city. And so we got it really this band. So I didn't sing any of my own words. Like this band was kind of run by the bass player,
right?
Oh,
that's scary.
Yeah. So I was singing his words, and yeah, they were like, we had this song called "Make Meat Out of Me," and I just remember just singing like at this show. So okay, so I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place right now. That's how I do it. Okay, so we got a show opening up for this band called the Caffeines. And the show was at it was like I guess it's like a rogue fraternity is what I read since looking it up. And it was called the Delta Lodge. And it was like this like dilapidated house. I mean, it really just looks like a crack house. Of course, I thought it was the coolest freaking thing. Like, I mean, it's like there was like no sheetrock on the walls, I mean, it was just like, what? Like nobody could possibly live here. So I'm like, this is friggin' sweet, I loved it. And like, there's this stage in the back, and it's basically a deck. And so we were out there doing our thing, and I just remember just like standing there, just holding the mic, like just like this, just like screaming, "Make meat out of me!" Just screaming and like not moving, just totally terrified and not moving. And but like these college kids that were there, like they were into it. They were like, there were not that many people there yet because we were the opener, but they were like doing what moshing they could and like actually liked it. And so my grandparents came and they were just like, oh my God, like what is this? What is this? Because I'm just screaming. I'm basically like talk singing and then like screaming and saying things like, we had this one that was like, Elsie's dead. Elsie's dead. Elsie's dead. There's no more milk. And I would scream that like, what does that mean? So,
what does it mean?
but no, it was so fun. So we did that show. And then that band was like, hey, you guys want to open up for us at our next show? I think it was like the very next day. And we're like, yeah, okay, well, it's at this club downtown. It was called the 21st Amendment. And I mean, I'm 13. Like none of us could get into this club. No, none of us. I think we had to be 18 to get in this club. I can't exactly remember. So I had to talk my parents into it. I was like, please take me to the show. So they did. And so we're kind of sitting around just waiting because our drummer did not bring his drums. He was going to use the Caffeine's drum set. So they finally arrive and we're all just sitting around waiting, as you do, I guess, at these things. And then somebody, I guess it was the lead singer, came up to us and was like, all right, look, show's off. We're like, why? Well, Starr, the bass player, her name was Starr. Starr got caught writing on the bathroom walls. Oh. We've all been kicked out. You could have stayed if you brought a drum set, but now we're all leaving. I was like, oh God. We were like, really? I mean, we were so excited. It was like a real, it was a club. It was going to be a real show. Kicked out. So then we get home, and my mom mostly was like, you cannot be in that band anymore. You're too young for this. And I'm like, why? It's my dream. Like, I was devastated, like I just knew like this was going to be something. And so she made me quit, and I was pretty upset about that. But when I get it now, looking back, why she did. So this kind of leads into another story, if you want to hear it.
Of course I do. That's what we're here for.
Okay. So it kind of veers outside of I'll come back to the band thing. But so this is a sad story. So sometimes I cry. Forgive me if I get a little teary-eyed, but I'm an emotional person. So actually, when I joined Radium Milk, before that show that we did, my middle sister died in a car accident. And so I think at that point, so she didn't actually, so she was really supportive, like of my music, right? Like I remember when I started playing my guitar, and she was like, oh, it's so cool that I have a sister that can play guitar. I could not play anything, but she thought it was so cool. And she was like excited that I had started, that I was in this band, and tell me when your show is. I'll totally come to your show. So she died about a month before that show at the Delta Lodge.
Wow.
So she didn't get to come to the show. But I think at that point, so my mother then was the age that I am now. And when I think about losing a daughter, she was 19 years old. And I think at that point, you're kind of maybe in preservation mode. Like you're so traumatized, you're of losing somebody, you're maybe afraid you're going to lose somebody else. Right. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I think, and I could not get that at the time. At the time, I'm just like, why are you standing in the way of my dreams? This is my dream. But I really think it was more about just trying to protect me as much as she could.
Yeah. The cotton wool coming out. Yeah. Defenses.
Yeah. And but I still, I still, like I said, I get it now, but I still kind of resented her for that for a while. And that screwed me up, and music definitely has helped me. I mean, it screwed me up for a really long time. It was a really long time I couldn't let it go. But music definitely helped me through that, I think. But so after Radium Milk, I became determined to start my own band. And I wanted it to be my band. I didn't want to sing anybody else's songs. I wanted it to be my songs. And I wanted it to be a 3-piece, an all-female 3-piece, like Babes in Toyland. They were
great band.
My favorite band as a kid. Like I brought the record, like this record. So I didn't have, honestly, it was the CD, but
what an album.
I couldn't get to it in my thing. So I didn't actually have a record player then. But anyway, so this record, it got me through, I think, my sister's death, and just, the kids at school, making fun of me, like kids do. It's just part of like middle school, I guess, Yep. But I wanted a band like Babes in Toyland. So I go up to this girl that I'd kind of been observing from a distance at school. So I'm in 8th grade at this point. I'm 14. And I go up to this girl and I'm like, hey, you look cool. Do you want to be my bass player? I'll teach you how to play. I don't know how to play bass, but I'll teach you how to play. And she's like, okay, yeah. I'm like, cool. So she like lived down the street from me. Like she bought a bass from the same girl that I bought the piano that, I used to sing B-52s with. Apparently we got I even got my first guitar from this girl. We got all of our crap from this girl. She bought a bass. She would walk like, I don't even know. It was not even a mile, but it seemed like very long, from her house carrying her bass and her amp. And she'd walk to my house and we'd have practice. And, we had the hardest time finding a drummer.
Uh,
And I wanted a female drummer. I want, like I said, I wanted it to be all girls. And I didn't know back then that you could like maybe put out like ad or what is it, like personal, something in the paper. Like I didn't know how to find a drummer. Right. So I'm just kind of like trying to find one around school. So we had one friend and we're like, hey, be our drummer. And she's like, okay, like her dad would buy her anything. So her dad bought her a drum set and was like, okay, we're going to get you lessons. So I think one day we were just going to practice. And even though she didn't have lessons, I don't know what we were going to do. I just remember there was a plan. We had a plan. And, I was very serious about this. And she calls me and she's like, hey, I got to cancel band practice today because I'm going to go to the movies. I was like, you're going to what? You're going to what? I'm going to go to the movies. Let's do it another time. No, you're out. You're out of the band. Like, so she didn't even, and at this point I'm reading like Rolling Stone and Spin magazine and all of these, like, the Nirvana biography. It's like, if somebody acts up, you kick them out of the band, like that's the kind of stuff I've been reading. She didn't even get to drum for us. So after that, I was just like, oh God. And it just kind of, it was hard to find people that were as serious about it as I was, that went to school with me. Cause I'm not going to put it in the paper and like ask some stranger to be in my band. I'd have to I'm one of those people that I have to observe you like from far away for a little bit and figure out like, do I want to be your friend? Do I want you in my band? Can I tolerate you?
That's all right. It is important because, it's a relationship. It's a relationship with other people. And it's very hard to maintain that because opinions come into things and things get heated. And that's sometimes what makes being in a band fantastic. It's those varying opinions that can make a band outstanding. But at the same time, it can make a band shitful to be in. So on the outside, everybody's loving your music going, oh my God, you're amazing. And internally, it's like, yeah, the reason we're amazing is we all hate each other. That's why it works.
Right. I think that's how like Soundgarden was. Was it Soundgarden or
Faith No More's like that?
Maybe.
All
Yeah.
very different.
Queens of the Stone Age. I think they're constantly fighting. They're kind of one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
So, so we had about, she and I, so really it was just the two of us and that we never really fully formed. So we had probably, oh gosh, like 20 songs.
Wow.
And I have them on a tape of just me and her. Like I'm just screaming into my karaoke amp. Like we put one of those like boom boxes where you can like record the room,
Yep.
And we put a tape in there. I'm screaming through my karaoke amp. I'm playing through my PV and she's playing through her little thing and we're just doing our thing. And Queens of the Stone Age represent. I know, right?
Yeah.
Hi, Audible. So yeah, that was that. Okay, and then I'm sorry. I think should I just keep going?
You can do whatever you want. This is your time.
Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Is that what I'm supposed to do? Hey, this is just a conversation.
Am I supposed to just sit here?
This is just a conversation. I have no questions.
Okay.
We got the typical questions out the way. This is just chatting now. We're just shooting shit.
Okay, good. Oh, sweet. Okay. So then the third band was with my friend Aaron, and he was the bass player, and I was I was supposed to be rhythm guitar and the vocalist. And so he and I live here where I still live, so in the suburbs, but the other two band members were in San Antonio. So I know you don't know all of Texas, but that's like 3 hours away. And it was his cousin and his cousin's friend. So that was kind of hard to make that work because, so at this point I'm 17, but my parents were not about to let me drive to San Antonio by myself. And not just because I'm 17, but because I was a troubled kid at 17. Like I had a drug problem. Like this was at the height of my drug problem, and like I wasn't eating right. Like, I mean, like it was bad. It was just bad. And my parents were like, all right, you can go, but we're gonna, to this to this show that we did at a house party, but we're going to drive you. Oh, this band, sorry, we were called Instant Larry. I forgot to say that. We were called Instant Larry.
You've got some great band names.
I didn't make any of them up. Oh, the second one, I forgot to tell you the second one. See, I'm all over the place. This is pretty much how I thought this was going to go, though, to be honest with you. The second one that I did name, me and my friend did name, and that's the one where we couldn't find a drummer. And that one we called ourselves Babbling Abby.
Wow.
I don't know. We just thought it sounded cool. So that, and then Instant Larry was 3. So with Instant Larry, we did record a demo. Me and Aaron went to San Antonio to his cousin's house, and they had, I want to say it was a 4-track. I didn't even look. I didn't care. I'm like, I'm here to sing. I don't know. I don't want to know all this technical crap. I just want, now I would, but then I was like, whatever. So we recorded a demo. It's got to be out there somewhere. I hope. I don't know. I haven't heard it in forever. But we had only really one show, and it was a house party. And actually, Aaron, the bass player, he was not able to make it because he flew there. He was going to fly there, and my parents drove me, and there was a storm, and his flight got canceled. So I'm up there, and I don't really know his cousin and his friend well enough, like I barely hung out with them, and I just was like, oh my God, Aaron's not here. I just feel so, like I screwed up. Like, I mean, it was just, people didn't seem to like notice or care that I was screwing up on my guitar parts. It was just freaking awful. It was awful. Awful. Luckily I barely remember a lot of it, but it just was so hard to do that band because we were all so far away. But I actually had a thought last night that, like, why don't we just get that band back together? And I don't know. I might actually text my friend later and be like, hey, let's get Instant Larry back together. And he'll be like, no, gal, we're not doing that. I can just see him saying. So after that, there was the very last one was this band was already kind of ready-made. They were called June Halo, and this was in, so this is like my late 20s. I want to say I was probably like 27-ish, like 2008, 2007 or something. And they wanted a keyboard player. And I think my sister's husband knew the drummer, and they were like, hey, Kim can play, ask her. And so I did like a practice or two with them. Like, I don't know how to be like a supporting keyboard player, right? I don't really know how to, not to mention, I don't think they needed one. So that didn't really work out. Like, I wasn't really interested in that band that much. I didn't really like the music. It just kind of fizzled.
Did you release anything?
Really? No. So that's it. That's the story of the bands.
Well, I'm going to ask, and first I want to say thank you for sharing all that, and thank you for sharing, the story about your sister. I'm incredibly sorry to hear about your loss. It's a terrible thing to have to go through.
Thank you.
You mentioned something in there that look, and this is how I do these interviews. You bring something up, I'm going to probe it. So you talked about drugs, and as someone myself who's done a lot of drugs, I can honestly say it. I got no problem with it. Done a lot of drugs. You name it, I've tried it at least 3 times, or maybe 100. You said it was a drug problem. Do you look back at now as did it cause a problem in your life? Did it affect the way you just got on through life and creating music, being creative? Did it help creatively?
Yeah. No, it didn't help. No, not at all. No, it became, my life became about the drugs, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, this wasn't just like weed.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So it was, I basically completely got distracted by music because of the drugs, and I guess, I think it was kind of just, I didn't know how to cope really with my sister dying. And, you know, music did help. Don't get me wrong. Like sitting in my room and learning how to play like every single song on this Babes in Toyland album, like that got me through that time, you know, that early time after she died. But after that, it just felt like nothing was working, and I couldn't face it. I wouldn't let myself be sad about it. And so basically I'm just, you know, I mean, the crowd that I hung around with, it wasn't hard to find drugs.
It's a music scene.
You know? Yeah.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And, but no, it didn't help. It didn't help at all.
Yeah.
And actually the line in the song Time, they sent me away. That really happened. Right. That really did happen. Yeah. And it was because of Moody's party, which is mentioned in the first verse. So see, there's a lot of things in there that only my friend Aaron knew, because we drove, you know, Moody was our friend and we'd go to his party, and I had drugs and my purse was stolen and my keys were gone. So I had no choice but to call my parents, and my parents already knew that, you know, I had a bit of a problem, but they were kind of trying to trust me a little bit more, and which they should not have. But, so that party pretty much was like, that might've got me into the first couple of treatments. Honestly, it's hard to remember the details all, you know, that might've got me just in the first couple of treatment centers. But, when they finally did send me away when I was 17 to Oklahoma to live on a cow pasture with 16 other girls. It sucked.
Wow. Yeah.
But it saved my life.
Yep.
It saved my life.
Oh, look, I've taken a lot of drugs in my life and sung on stage taking a lot of drugs. I remember doing a gig once on LSD. And you know those little sensors that you have in a house that like motion detector sensors? They're like a little rectangle thing with a little flashing light. During the gig, there was one of those in the corner of the hotel. And I thought it was Ned Kelly. Ned Kelly is a gangster here from Australia. He wears a like a metallic helmet. I'll show you what he looks like. Here we go, Ned Kelly. And seriously, while I was on stage, if I put Ned Kelly helmet, let's see, this will give you an idea. There we go. So there's Ned Kelly's helmet right there. You can see how it's like rectangular and it's got a little eye in it. And I thought that was Ned Kelly up on stage. And I was yelling at Ned Kelly from the stage, "I'll get you, Ned Kelly!" And in the middle of a show. And my band were looking at me going, "Oh, you got to get off the drugs, seriously." And I was like, "Damn you, Ned Kelly."
You're like, you're out of the band.
You know? And look, hey, at the same time, drugs can be... Look... I'm completely honest about my drug use, because at the same time it was really destructive for a lot of things, but at the same time my creativity was incredible. You know, I remember doing peyote in another country and doing all these different crazy mind-altering drugs. I don't regret it, you know.
Right.
I think it's good to own up to it. I think a lot of people try and bury drug use, even when they've had a problem, or even if they haven't had a problem. But I think it's good to talk about it. I'm glad you've come through it. I'm glad you're still with us, because you're important. Yeah. I want to shift from that, and thank you for being so candid, because you know most people would tell me to get fucked if I ask that kind of question.
No.
So
that's what this time is for, right?
Yeah.
So
moving away from music. Did you take some time off from music? Did you settle down for a bit, meet somebody? What kind of happened? Did life get in the way? Was there a time where?
Do you mean like what was I doing for that 15 years that I was not doing music?
There you go.
Yeah. So, geez, I wasted a lot of time. So yeah, I got married. And divorced, got a job. So I kind of decide, so it's kind of like, you know, so by the time I get out of treatment, I'm 18 years old. And all I wanted to do, and I was still living with my parents, and all I wanted to do was just be free. Like I was 18 years old and I still had a curfew because I'd just gotten back from treatment. And I'm like, why do I still have a curfew? Like, let me out of here.
Free
So
Britney.
I moved, right. So I'm like, I'm an adult. So I ended up moving out at 19, and I worked in a coffee shop, and then I was just like, you know, I'm not making any money. I just wanted to make money. So that's when I decided to go to a temp agency, which got me into the corporate world, which is where I still am. I mean, in the corporate world, not from the temp agency, but yeah, because that'd be a very long job.
That's more than temporary. That seems a bit permanent.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, it is. So so then I just, I was just kind of like, well, at this point, I kind of started writing music less and less, I think, and because my focus became, I just wanted to like get my own place and like find somebody to spend my life with or whatever. And most of that time, the 15 years, I just wasted it. I just sat on the couch and watched South Park and Will and Grace reruns. Like partied. Because because I did go to treatment, but I wasn't doing any of the hard drugs anymore, but I had basically relapsed. So it was just a lot of sitting around with my ex-husband and his friends, playing video games, smoking weed, watching South Park, nothing. Like I just did nothing. I did nothing. And I kind of, I do regret it a little bit. I mean, except that, everything that we do leads us to where we are, I guess. Right. So that's good. But like, oh my God, the years of experience that I just pissed away. Like I could have had so much more experience right now, but I just didn't believe in myself. One, and it was kind of a lonely, again, it's hard for me to find people to play with. Like I didn't have anybody to really like share that with. And, so I kind of had to keep up that, would it be like momentum, that, within myself, because I didn't have another friend at the time to play with. So yeah, I just everything just kind of fizzled. And I was just like, well, kind of saying to myself, I guess I can be happy just having a decent job and a husband. Like I'm fine. Like I don't really I can just let the whole music thing go. That's who I was when I was a kid, and that's not who I am now. That's what I try to convince myself of. And that's not true. That's not true. I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. I didn't know it at the time.
Yep.
But now I know that I was miserable.
Was there something that just clicked and got you back wanting to play music again? Was there a moment, or did you just fall back into it? How did you start playing music again?
Yes. So during that 15 years, I was on medication. I was on pharmaceuticals, like still trying to run from my feelings, trying to run from the fact that my sister died, and then, just whatever. Oh crap. And I just lost my train of thought. See, that's what I knew was going to happen.
Don't worry, it happens to me every 5 minutes. That's the drugs coming back to haunt me, everybody.
Don't do drugs.
Don't end up like us.
Oh gosh. Sorry. It's because my stories go all over the place. Does anybody remember
was there something that clicked you into playing music again? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I had finally after 15 years, I finally got off like antidepressants and other medications that I was on. And I went through like a really kind of deep depression where I was like, who am I? And who have I been this whole time? And I went through this phase where I got rid of I had some equipment that I had got when I was kind of still trying to do, I thought I was going to record way back when. It never happened. Like I ended up like donating like a nice mic and all this crap that I never used. And I was like, that's not who I am. Like I was kind of metaphorically trying to kill myself. I don't know. It's weird. The only thing I did not get rid of was my guitar and my piano and my guitar. And there was this at work. So this is 2017 now. We had a pipe burst and a flood. So we were forced to work from home for like 4 months straight. So in between, you know, doing my work and stuff, I was like, you know what? I want to play my guitar again. And that was about the time I started listening to Radiohead. I used to not really like Radiohead that much. I thought they were kind of overrated. I didn't like Tom York's voice. And I was like, you know what? I needed something to get me through what was going on in my head and in myself. And I was like, I'm going to give them another chance. And I did. And it I guess because their music is kind of depressing, it helped me not feel so alone. And so I was like, I'm going to learn some of these songs. Like some of them sound like I haven't played in a long time, but it's got to be still in me somewhere, you know? So I started learning a lot of Radiohead songs, way too many Radiohead songs. So yeah, just really just playing those, and then just whatever else I would, you know, want to play, just kind of like open chord stuff, nothing, you know, cause I'm not a lead player. I'm a rhythm player, if you can even call me that. But, so yeah, I just started just playing again. And then finally, and then 2 years later was when I got the idea.
Oops, we've lost your sound there. I don't know where it's gone. Sound. Now you're back. Now you're back.
That's because my AirPods,
you're back now.
They disconnected and
You're back
reconnected.
now. I was going to say with Radiohead, like when I heard Radiohead, I really struggled to get into Radiohead. I couldn't see what everybody was on about. And it you know, what's really weird, it was what got me into Radiohead was something bad happened in my life. And you're absolutely right about them being quite, you know, a downer band. And because something had happened, because there was a catastrophe in my life, all of a sudden it just clicked and it all made sense. And Radiohead was just, I just couldn't stop consuming it. There was like 3 to 4 months of just into the back catalogue, just couldn't stop listening to it. And, and it got me through that period of time. And now it's just, every time I hear a Radiohead song, there's specific songs that I hear, I just go, oh, wow, that moment seems so long ago. It's almost like I can't remember how I dealt with it, but now every time I hear that Radiohead, those particular Radiohead songs, I remember how I got through that particular thing.
Yeah.
Incredible band. Incredible.
Yeah. They are. No matter what Russ says. Where is he at? You know who else I like, Russ? Beatles.
Shots fired.
There he is. He's still in here somewhere.
Yeah, I can hear him now going.
He was 4 minutes ago.
Laughing away.
I can't.
Hey, hello to Bacon Cheddar. Hello to Pete Johns was in here earlier. A few other people.
Hi, Pete.
Padded Pedals is here as well. I've seen a whole bunch of other people come in. Sorry if I've missed you, but we've been deep in conversation, as you may know.
We have. I haven't even seen any of this chat. I'm going to rewatch and I'm going to read all the chat.
You'll get to see it.
So
yeah. How did lockdown affect you last year? Did it contribute to you actually making music? Did the lockdown? Yeah.
Yes. So I've heard you say, I'm kind of like you in this way. I've heard you say you thrived in lockdown. Yeah, that was me. I feel, and of course, and I know you feel the same way when we talk about it was a pandemic and people were dying. They still are. It still is. And it's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But that time to not have to go into work or anywhere, you know, like I was actually furloughed. I was actually furloughed from my job in April of 2020, and we worked every other week. And so I had long stretches where I was off. And that's when I, you know, started looking into GarageBand and stuff. But no, I mean, I'm an introvert, really, you know, so to not have to go to work and like, you know, put on my makeup and be like, hey, everybody, how's it going? How's your day? Good to see you. Hey, how's it? You know, like that just kind of like, it drains me, and the constantly doing it. And, you know, so, and then just being there at my job, which is very analytical, you know, I hadn't had a lot of this like space for creativity. And so then the pandemic happens and furlough happens, and suddenly I have ideas, and I have, is it weird that I had hope during a pandemic?
No.
I mean, I did, because I felt, you know, I just discovered GarageBand, and I just had all this, I just had hope. So
I think it's sad that, all right. And again, you know, I've said it many times. It's absolutely beyond shit that so many people have died. So many people have been affected financially, for those people who, you know, have lost their jobs or unable to work and have nothing else. But on the same token, there's been a lot of people on this planet for the longest time desperate for some breathing space to just fucking take a moment to go, oh, the world's too fast and too mental. There's too much. So, and a lot of introverted people, a lot of people with mental health issues, a lot of people who were dying to get out creatively, something that needed to come out to just reset. And you hear the world reset. A lot of us did fucking need it. We did. Absolutely. To just breathe and just say, oh my God, you know, for all those flat earth people out there who think the world's not spinning, it bloody is. And it's spinning out of control, and we need a break. And, you know, I understand where you're coming along with the corporate world. Just knowing that you didn't have to have an elevator speech prepared for that asshole that you don't know, but you have to have it prepared, is like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
So, and like I felt guilty of it. Have you felt guilty about it too? Like, isn't that weird? We feel guilty that we're all getting a chance to take a break because so many people are dying because of it. But then at the same token, so many people die every day. It's such a...
I know. I know. I mean, sometimes I feel guilty when I'm like, oh, geez, early pandemic furlough was the greatest time of my life. Yeah, I feel guilty when I say that, because there's people out there that it's the worst time of their life, or they lost their lives. But I look at it as like, you're alive now.
Yep.
And you could go to the grocery store. I mean, at this point, you know, in the early pandemic, you know, we weren't really sure like how easy it was to catch, you know, but basically you can go to the grocery store and freaking die.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all this time that you've been given, and you're alive. So do something, because you haven't, Kim, you haven't in a long time. So I don't feel that guilty. I guess maybe that sounds, sorry if that sounds bad, but I had to, you know, make lemonade, I guess, as they say.
Yeah. You're given lemons,
You know?
make something sour that no other fucker wants to drink except you.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So you stumbled across GarageBand, and
Yeah.
and I'm guessing it opened many doors, because you've what a pun that was. Many doors. Peppy, where are you today? Peppy's got the day off eating garbage. I
Oh.
know. I can do it. Hang on. Let's do it. Oh, no, I don't even have the... Oh, yes. No, it's not working. Yeah, Peppy's got the day off. But you found GarageBand,
Okay,
and you
that's
found
okay.
all of us too.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. We all have found each other during this time as well. So what was it about GarageBand that pulled you in and made you want to create music?
Well, I wouldn't say it's anything about GarageBand, really. It's just that I realized that I had GarageBand, and so I had heard about GarageBand before, like, I want to say somewhere around 2008.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that you could record your instruments into it. Like, I didn't know any of this stuff, right? So when the way that I actually kind of discovered GarageBand was I was actually looking up how to play Violet by Hole to see if I was playing it right these decades, however many decades I was playing that song.
Yeah.
So I look it up, and there's this kid just playing it. You know, I like to watch like people. I don't like a lot of long instructions. I just like to watch people's hands. You know, I'm like, okay, that's that chord. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. So this kid's sitting there and just playing it, and he's got this great sound coming out. So at this time, I was like, oh, I should probably buy pedals and amps, and I was thinking all the stuff I needed. And then so I hear this kid playing this song, and it almost sounded like the guitars on the Live Through This album. And I'm thinking, I really want to know what pedal that is. I go through his comments to see if anybody's asked, and somebody did, and he said, it's not a pedal, it's GarageBand. And I was like, oh, GarageBand. Oh my God. I have GarageBand. And so I'm, frantically on the laptop, like, okay, well, where is it? What do I do? Download it immediately. YouTube, GarageBand for beginners, Patrick's channel, the GarageBand guide. The GarageBand guide pops up.
The GarageBand guide.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. And, I'm just following like each little thing. I mean, it was super, super basic. Like, here's how you add a track. Like, I'm like, okay, add a track. Let's do that. So at this point, I'm just kind of playing with the musical typing because I don't have any equipment at this point. Like, I'm just trying to see, like, is this thing, like, can I learn this thing? Is it fun? Do I want to do this? And just doing those, like just following those little instructions, I was like, yeah, I do. I want to. So then, and this is, during furlough. So then those weeks that I was off, my job became, what interface am I going to get? What headphone am I going to get? What mic am I going to get? Like, how am I going to do all this? How am I going to hook up this old ass piano to a new computer? And that's where Pete comes in. And that's where I found Pete. He's got a video on how to hook up an old MIDI keyboard. And it was that Roland USB or MIDI to USB adapter that I got. So that, thank God, I didn't have to get another piano, electric piano, because I wasn't going to get a MIDI controller. I was going to have to get the 88 weighted keys and spend like $1,500 or something ridiculous. So thank God I didn't have to do that. And thank God I found Pete. And thank God I found Pete because I found all of you guys. And
hey, Pete here.
Holy crap, there's 43 people. But I'm so glad because even though I am an introvert, I still need some social interaction. So like you guys have all been my social interaction basically, and I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy that I found the community. I wasn't even like, I'm going to go find a community. Like, I didn't even know that existed, And then I guess I was like, I think a happy hour was recommended to me. I'm like, oh, what's this? So I click on it and there's the chat, I'm like, okay, I've never chatted before. And I'm just like, okay, I think I'm going to chat. And I'm like, hi, everybody. And I remember it was Mark Bro. I think then he was called Metallion. And he's like, "Hi, Kim." I'm like, "Oh my God, they see me. Oh my God." So then I'm like, "Hi." And the rest is history. I haven't left since.
Yeah, I remember you. You're a bit of a wallflower at the beginning. And isn't it interesting how, we were talking about drugs earlier, and GarageBand led you to the gateway drug that is Pete. The gateway drug. Pete, you're a drug, okay? Deal with it, Pete. You're a gateway drug. And hello, it's Patrick here from the GarageBand Guide. Sorry,
The garage band.
I had to try and do it.
I can't do it.
I do it better
Either.
better than Pete. Pete should never do it. It's terrible. So when you joined,
you should hear me do an Australian accent. It's really, really no. I'm not going
come
to.
on.
I
just did Patrick. I didn't do him, but
I'm just. Oh no, it's really bad. But I try.
To do an Australian accent, all you need to put is the word "fucking" in there, and you've got it no matter what. Just.
Oh, then I've got it down. Have I not said the F word?
No, you haven't.
Come
on. No, you haven't. Don't worry. This is your chance.
Maybe my parents can actually watch this.
If you're gonna do the F-bomb, the Australian accent is the way to go.
No, I can't. I'm not gonna do it.
There's no pressure here. I'll do it enough for you if you want. So that's all good.
Okay.
The garage fucking band guide. There you go. All good stuff.
That was perfect.
So, so you've reinvented yourself completely. You've come out of this, you've been in bands, you've gone through some traumatic events. And then I'm going to talk about the Wart series because I know, like, it was where I really started to see you start to really, on my channel anyway, where I started to interact with everybody and I felt like I really got to know everybody during that. And you know what's interesting? I talked about this on Clubhouse with people. I actually stopped doing it because I thought it was too heavy and people didn't dig it anymore, that it was too much for people. So
you would be wrong.
Yeah, I found that out recently. It was one person said to me, "I think it's too heavy," and that one criticism made me stop doing it. And now I regret it. But I think at the time it was the right time. You know how things.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, there was we're still in it kind of thing. So I say during, but
yeah,
it just
early pandemic.
Yeah, it felt right to talk about that stuff because I don't know, nobody else was doing it. It helped me, and I hopefully it did help other people because I'm gonna kick it off again soon. And yeah, you're definitely a very emotional artist, and hopefully. Hopefully it has helped people. I want to ask you about, where are we? How much time have we got? Let's talk about some apps. Let's jump into some apps.
Gosh, it's flying by.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
I told you. And normally I play, because you only have 2 songs, normally I've played about 4 songs in between here as well. So, we've done a lot of talking.
Yeah.
Hello, Mike Holmes. It was the right time. Thank you. I hope it was, and let me know if you guys think I should start it up again because I want to. I didn't want to actually stop it, but somebody kind of made me feel bad about it. But let's talk about some apps. What are some apps that you use that help you make music?
Okay. So I don't, Russ, where is the dog, Kim? The dog is in, I don't know, he's in a different room. I'm sorry,
Everyone
Russ.
wants doggo.
We'll see how it goes. Well, we'll see. Okay, apps. Okay, so, I use my laptop. So I use my Mac laptop to make music. And I don't use a lot of apps to make music, but I use apps. So what I use is...
It doesn't have to be music. Yeah. Just things that make your life better.
Okay. So voice memos. I use voice memos all the time. So, of course, you're never, you get the ideas like when you're on a walk or brushing your teeth or whatever. And I'm like, oh God, voice memo. And I, will sing something into it. So I capture definitely, I'll come up with harmony ideas and I'll sing it into my thing. And I'm like, okay, see if that works, and then I'll go try and record it. Oh no, that doesn't work. The other one I use a lot is the notes. It's just called Notes, isn't it?
The one that you get with iOS.
And that's where, yeah. And that's where I just put lyrical ideas, things that I think sound cool, that I could maybe use for lyrics or song ideas. I recently learned, though, did you know that you can pull your voice memos into your notes? I didn't know that. And I was like, sweet.
You can add photos.
So, because I have
you can add photos, calendar things. You can draw in it. I mean, it's an everything pad. It's amazing.
It's amazing. I mean, it's got like, I used to handwrite all of my ideas, my lyrical ideas and stuff like that, but now I just use that all the time, especially because, you know, you can search too. So that's cool. So I can just bring up stuff. So I have like a running, for my next song, I have a running list of like things I want to try. Like I'll be on a walk, like listening to music, and I'll hear like a cool vocal effect or something. And I'll be like, okay, try this thing that Tori Amos did on her album, you know, on her one song, you know, this is where the idea comes from, try this, you know. And so like I have a running list of stuff. So now I know that I can also bring in my harmony ideas from my voice memos into my notes, so I can have everything in one place and be like, try this idea and then listen to the idea. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely. It's brilliant for that.
I use those a lot. And then I make the videos. Is it Visibel or Wisabel? I don't really know how to say it. I think it's Visibel. I use that.
I always forget how to spell it. Wisabel.
Wizibel.
Oh, well done. Wizybel. I think I've got it.
Yeah.
Hang on. No, I think I spelled it wrong. It's W-I with E. Bell. Is that right? I can't find it.
Did I
spell it wrong? Hang on. What?
W-I-Z-I-B-E-L. I think.
There it is.
See that?
You got it. I can't spell for crap. That's all. Yes.
Oh, okay. So I use that. So that's actually on my iPad. So it's kind of probably cumbersome the way I do this, but when I finish a song on my laptop, I drop the WAV file into the drive, the iCloud drive, and then I go to the iPad and then I pull it from there, from the drive, and then I drop it into Visibel or Wisabel, whatever you call it. But now that I have audio share, you gave me audio share on the Patreon. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can maybe use that. That might cut out a step somewhere along the way. I'm not really sure. So that's basically as far as like the music goes. That's what I use. So the other two apps that I wanted to bring up were two apps that I also learned about from you, and they are Affinity Photo.
Yeah.
And Brushstroke. So my profile picture that I changed recently too, that I used Affinity and Brushstroke to do that. And one of these days, hopefully I'm going to make a banner, and I still need to learn how to use Affinity. Like I really want to like learn how to do that stuff. Like, 'cause I like visual art, and I kind of like, that's kind of my second, like music is my first art or my first love. And my second love is like visual art. So I just want to learn how to do this stuff and make like cool, album artwork, or I don't know. I haven't really got that far yet.
Affinity's a tough one, and I do have shows planned to get a little bit more into it and try and show a specific thing. So I definitely have that planned. So hopefully I can help you get with it. So because it is incredibly powerful, and Brushstrokes is it's beautiful, isn't it? It just really.
Oh, it's so fun. You can do. There's so many different things that you can do. You know, like I don't know. It's just amazing. It's like so incredibly customizable, I guess you would say.
We'll get you onto LumaFusion at some stage too. So
honestly, yeah. Watching your video, your LumaFusion videos, and you're making the utensils videos, it's like I'm just like, oh wow, that's so cool. Like, you know what? It's kind of like, so I don't have any previous experience with video making. Like, I mean, like literally none. So it looks like it's laid out just like a DAW.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you've got your video clips are your tracks, and then you go in there and you put in your is it called key points? And then that's basically automation.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Exactly.
So it's like I feel like the learning curve wouldn't be that steep. I just gotta it's the time. So I'm very meticulous, and that's why it takes me a long time to do stuff. So I'm like, oh God, if I start making videos on top of making songs, you guys will hear from me like once a year. But I don't know. I still want to. I did definitely want to use LumaFusion. Yeah.
All right. So I know that you have mentioned that you are working on a new song. Now, I'm going to say, I am right there, aren't I?
Yeah.
Are you right?
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about doing this interview, I was like, should I wait to do the interview until you've got a new song, or should I just do it now? And then I thought about this and was like, you know what? Let's just do the interview now, because I don't want to put any more time pressure on top of you to be like, we'll do the interview once you've got the song out, because that I felt was a negative to doing the interview, where instead I wanted to do this interview as you do the interview and then you're invigorated to complete the song.
Yeah.
You know? So that was my thinking behind this, because I think I'm an overthinker, and I think most of us are. And it's a bad thing, and it's a good thing, right? And that's probably why I'm single.
It is.
And will forever be. So how are you going with the new song? What can we expect from the next? Because and I don't want to say what I'm expecting, because I don't know what to expect. What are you expecting to create from the next song?
Well,
Perfect.
okay. So I'll just tell you. So I'll tell you where I'm at with the next song. Everything is recorded except for the bass. The lead vocal for this song is super hard for me. So I've been singing this song. It's actually the first arrangement that I ever did in GarageBand, because I didn't have my interface. My interface and my mic were back ordered, so I had to start on something. So the first thing I got was that USB adapter, and so I started this song. But I knew I wanted it to not be my first one, because it's really slow, and mostly because I knew I would not be able to sing it immediately. So I needed to practice it. So I'm not even kidding you, I have tried to record those vocals like 150 times. Like, you know how I'll set up like 5 tracks, and I'll do like all my takes, right? And then I try to, take what's good and put those together, and that's what you end up hearing. I have done that 15 or 16 times. I think I have 15 different projects where I'm like, starting lead vocal for real is what I call it. Number 16. And so I think that I thought that they were done. I thought the lead vocal was done. I was listening to it last night, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know now. Like, and what's funny is that you were saying how this would like kind of maybe invigorate me, because I was like, okay, Kim, maybe you just don't like the way it sounds because you just listened to Phone and Time before that, and those are complete, they're mixed, they have compression, they have EQ, you're comparing, whatever. And I was like, okay, so maybe I'll like have a little bit more confidence after the interview. Maybe I'll try them again, or maybe I'll just leave them and I'll mix them. And I honestly still don't know where I am with that lead vocal. Like, if I want to keep it, if I want to just try to mix it and see if like, oh, it's fine. I know that when I sang it that day, I was coming from an emotional place where I felt confident, but I'm not sure that I'm just not sure. I'm just kind of self-conscious about this song, but you know what? I've been self-conscious about the other ones too. So
yeah, I feel exactly where you're at. I've been working on this album with Kev Hart forever, and I'm sure if he's watching this on the replay, he's like, "You're damn straight forever. Can we get it finished?" But, there's, because not all the time you're actually emotionally apt to do this stuff or physically apt. And, for me personally, like my health is shit. And sometimes it just, that happens and you can't get it out. And then you do a take and then go back and listen and it sounds like shit. I think it was Patrick just wrote something in the chat. If I go, often it's the first take that works out the best. It's absolutely true. Normally the first things that you do are the best. And you end up, Pete shows this off really well, I think, in his shows. He normally does all these takes when he's showing how to do a song over like Songtember, and a lot of the original takes he does still manage to get in there because they do turn out to be, because you're more relaxed and you're not invested enough in it yet,
my take ones are always crap, actually. My songs are mostly take 3 and take 4, but mostly take 3. That's when I finally am able to really get into the moment and
and Gregory O'Sullivan says sometimes you just have to commit and go with what you have, and it is true. Sometimes you just got to draw a line in the sand and say done. And I know I have to do that, and I'm currently trying to do it, but there's just so much to do as well. There's so much other shit going on. And look, I can say this to you now, on our Patreon, we have a pretty supportive group there. So, if you ever want to throw the mix over and send it over for one of our Sunday sessions, you'll get honest feedback from us all because...
honestly, Jade, I do kind of want to send it in and it's not mixed at all yet. I haven't, I usually do gain automation. I mean, I have to do a lot of crap on my vocals because they're so dynamic to get them just right. So it's going to sound like dog shit. But I kind of I need somebody else to, because I'm so used to hearing the vocal and it's me. So of course I'm going to be like, oh, that's awful. So I do kind of want to send it in and see what do you guys think? Do I sound like I'm holding back? Do I sound just as good? I just want to sound just as good as I did on phone. It's apples and oranges. They're very different songs, but I don't want to sound worse. And I don't know that I can necessarily sound better. I don't know.
Well, you know what it's like over on the Patreon. This weekend, for those of you who aren't on the Patreon, Andy Goldsby sent his track in and we had a listen and, we played it and I was watching the chat and all you guys were going, this is amazing. This is amazing. And I was sitting there going, but I was sitting there going, yeah, it is amazing. But your vocals are way too low. Auntie G's vocals are way too loud. The guitar's way too loud. And I'm just going to fucking say it. And that's it. And he took it away and fixed it all. And he released it a couple of days ago. And it sounds wicked because Auntie G's vocals sit beautifully now. Andy's voice is nice and front and center because, sorry, Andy, if you're watching this, you do over-critique your voice and put yourself down too much. But sometimes you need somebody to be those second ears to say, no, turn up, man. You sound great.
Andy has a great voice. He's got a great voice. So it was I think I left him a comment maybe on Slaps or something. I can't remember where it was. And he's like, oh, I was like, Andy, you've got a great voice. He's like, oh, thanks. I'm not really comfortable singing. And I'm thinking, why? Yeah. I didn't say that, but I was like, why not?
Well, so feel free to send it over. We'll all be looking forward to it on the Patreon with our little family over there each Saturday. If you're living in the past, because we love hearing your stuff.
I do. I live in the past. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have come to the end, and you know what that means? We are at the final question, which I love answering because everybody knows the fucking answer. It's such a terrible question. Kim Hardin-Hudson, if somebody was considering becoming creative, when would you suggest for them to start?
Well, why are you even watching this interview? You should have been. What are you doing? Go work on some music. No, I'm just kidding. Now, do it now. Do it as soon as you close the video. Do it.
Yeah, absolutely. and be kind to yourself while you're doing it too. Don't.
Yes, and be patient with yourself.
Because if you're not patient with yourself, if you're not kind to yourself, you'll just end up hating yourself, and nobody wants that. So.
No.
Well, we are going to play one more track, but I do want to thank you from the absolute bottom of my heart. It's been an absolute pleasure to finally meet you. it's so cool to put a face, put a voice, put to the text. And I will ask you to hang on at the end of the show, so we'll go out, play the music and that. So stay on the call. And I want to thank everybody for being here. You guys have absolutely kicked it. We've been sitting here at like 40 people through the entire stream.
Thank you
guys
so
rock.
much, you guys. You guys are the best. No, you rock, Gary. Thank you. I'm just kind of scrolling. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming. That just means so much to me. Jade, thank you so much for asking me. Like, I was just like, what? I can't believe.
I'm surprised it took this long. So you're the perfect person, because we took a break from doing the interviews for a month, and I needed the break. But I'll tell you what, I missed it incredibly during that month. It was like, wow, I really miss connecting with somebody because we're still locked down here in Victoria. We've been locked down for like 15 months. I feel like there's no outside world. So this is my connection to other people. So, look, it's been an absolute privilege. And folks, there's a link up in the top of the chat to Kim's Bandcamp. If you really want to support, go and buy a couple of tracks. They're cheap as chips. Go and buy them. All the links to her YouTube channel, to Songwhip, to Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff, her Instagram are all in the description. So make sure you go do all that stuff. You can hit the like on this video if you like, and if you don't like, just hit the dislike twice. It's all good by me. Exactly. But thank you. And again, I just want to say thank you also for your music and for your sheer honesty today. And thank you for answering my intrusive questions.
They're not intrusive at all. It was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. It was awesome. This is like one of the highlights of my whole life. Thank you so much. Thus far.
Easy, please.
I am, though. I really am.
All right, we'll wrap it up. We're going to go out today and we're going to play Phone by Kim Hardin-Hudson. Hope you all have an awesome evening, day, morning, whatever it is. Or if you're watching on the replay, thank you for watching on the replay and all of that. I'm having a day off tomorrow. We'll see you over on Ron Ward has his show tonight playing Your Music. It's not Your Music Live, but Indie Music Live. Pete's on with YML tomorrow, and Thomas Christ doing his live stream as usual. I'm taking the day off, and I'll see you probably in a couple of days. But this is Phone by Kim Hardin-Hudson, and you all do the things that make you happy. Make mistakes, they make you better. Remember, we all rise together.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.
Just remember to mute your mic.
Right. Okay. I'm
right, bye.
Phone. Think there's something wrong with me. Is there something wrong with me? Tell me what is wrong with me. I can't get a hold of me. I don't wanna live, but I don't wanna die. I just wanna go home like all the fucking time. This job is slowly killing me, but it's not like I'll ever leave, because I need the money. I stole my creativity. So phone, can you entertain me, please? Relieve me of my suffering. I thought it was recovering, but I can't get a hold of me. Tell me where to go. Tell me who to be. Tell me who to know. Whoa, well, is it time to leave? You can't give me what I need. I thought I was discovering. Got too much sensitivity. I can get a This job is slowly killing me, but it's not like I'll ever leave, because I need the money. Lost all